My child struggles with separation anxiety and has trouble sleeping on his own. Any suggestions would be helpful. Awesome question. So, separation anxiety is one of those things that it can happen in a lot of different places and areas. It can happen, maybe potentially when a child's separating from you at bedtime. So maybe a child wants to sleep with you at bedtime. Maybe it's activities that's around where, going to school. Definitely see a lot of that and work with a lot of kids as they're being dropped off at school. Just won't get out of the car, won't go to class, won't do those things. So I see that, different sporting activities, sleepovers, there's a lot of situations that this could potentially come into play. And so I guess I want to focus here on a minute, not necessarily about your child, but focus. I'm going to go again here on the parent side of things. Again, I know that these questions these answers I give you aren't necessarily always going to just fit who exactly your situation, or the answers I give you won't necessarily be the full detail that's going to just totally help you out. But I want to start to help you think about kind of maybe some things. I've got a book here, Anxious Kids, Anxious Parents. Anxious Kids, Anxious Parents. Show that to our support group here, Facebook Live. Anxious Kids, Anxious Parents. Definitely should check this out about separation anxiety. And where I'm going to go with this, this is by Lynn Lyons, Reed Wilson. Great anxiety people. Reed Wilson, Lynn Lyons. Where I'm going to go with this question is on the parent side of things. So when we think about separation anxiety and your child being fearful, potentially fearful that something's going to happen to them or you, really we got to set it up where, as a parent, you provide confidence for them that they can do these things, that this self-confidence, that they can develop this confidence. And sometimes that happens by just naturally the two of you guys, you and your child, separating from each other and going, you can do this, you got this, you can handle this. I want to be careful not to provide them too much reassurance, because then that starts going into they're needy for that and they need that from you, and then that can develop into that they have a lack of confidence because you're always providing that for them. But really, as a parent, you got to set them up and you got to instill that confidence. Sometimes, as the book says, anxious kids, anxious parents, and the other way, anxious parents, anxious kids. If we allow our own anxiety to filter down to our children, and they pick that up, that we've got our own anxiety about a situation, then they start to develop that, and then they don't necessarily have their own confidence. So we really got to check our own, Facebook Live, we got to really check our own our own anxiety in this. And so, one example, a quick example, is a mother that, notice I haven't eaten much of my donut yet. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Mom. I'm trying to chew with my mouth closed. Got anything on my face here? All right. That we got to check our own anxiety. And the classic case of a situation is I had a mother that was anxious about their child. Now we have to know what's age appropriate. That's part of this here. But was anxious about their child being in the backyard without them. Really from safety reasons, really no legitimate concerns. It was just the parent was feeling anxious. How are they doing? Are they getting hurt? Are they still in the backyard and those things? So the parent would go out every 5 minutes and check on them and see if they were okay. So, Joe, are you okay out there? So come back in. Joe, are you okay out there? So the child picked up on that and really started to feed their anxiety. And so I guess kind of on this question here, I just really encourage you to look at your own anxiety, and see if you're how anxious you are with your children. Come to bedtime. There's a lot of things that we could talk around bedtime here and that kind of stuff. But your child's sleeping with you, and you say it's okay. Come on in here. You're fine. What message are you giving to them when you're saying that it's okay to sleep with you? I know that's a very sensitive issue, and we start talking about separation anxiety. Sometimes folks, when we start to talk about disconnection and that stuff, which I think is important to spin in a positive way, that this is actually a good thing, that you're separating from developing that independence and those things. I know sometimes folks, especially when they're close to their kids, their eyebrows raise and their ears about this idea of disconnecting. And I'm not saying to emotionally disconnect from your child. I'm just saying find ways to do that, to connect in appropriate ways when they're not anxious and those things. So hopefully that helps. We'd love to give you lots of more nuggets about that. Check out this Anxious Kids, Anxious Parents book. Again, I'll leave that resource in the in the description of the video. So hope that helps.